Hello, today in history, we'll be looking at the topic Origin and History of the Edo people of Benin. The Benin people were initially ruled by the Ogisos. Ogiso means King of the Sky. The city of Ibinu was founded in 1180 CE. About 36 known Ogisos are accounted for as rulers of the empire. On the death of the last Ogiso, his son and heir apparent, Ekaladehan, was banished from Benin as a result of one of the queens changing the message from the oracle to the Ogiso. Ekaladehan was a powerful warrior and well-loved prince. On leaving Benin, he traveled to the west of present-day Nigeria, to the land of the Yoruba. At that time, the Yoruba oracle said that their king will come out of the forest, and when Ekaladehan arrived at Ife, he was received as a king. He changed his name to Ima Oduduwa, meaning I did not misplace my royalty, and became the great Oduduwa of the Yoruba land. On the death of his father, the last Ogiso, a group of Benin chiefs led by Chief Olia came to Ife, pleading with him to come back to Benin to ascend the throne. Oduduwa's reply was that a king cannot leave his kingdom, but he has 7 sons and will ask one of them to go back to Benin to rule as the next king. Location of the Edo people. The Edo-speaking peoples inhabited an area extending from the broken hills bordering the Ibira and Egala people in the north, in the present-day Nigerian states of Kogi, Kwara, and Benue, to the edge of the mangrove swamp in the coastal south, where their neighbors are the Ejo and Ishekiri, present-day Delta and River states of Nigeria. To the west, the Benin Kingdom shared boundaries with the Yoruba-speaking people of present-day Ondo and Ekiti states, and to the east, with the Igbo-speaking people of the southeastern Nigeria, where the boundary was demarcated by River Niger. Let's look at the First Benin Empire. The Kingdom of the Benin began in the 1900s, when the Edo people settled in the rainforest of West Africa. At first, they lived in a small fairly groups, but gradually, these groups developed into a kingdom. The kingdom was called Igodomigodo. It was ruled by a series of kings, known as Ogisos, which means the rulers of the sky. The first Ogiso, Ogiso Igodo, wielded much influence and gained popularity as a good ruler. He died after a long reign and was succeeded by Ere. The Second Benin Empire. Olamiyan, the son of Ekaladehan, also known as Oduduwa, agreed to go to Benin. Remember, when Ekaladehan was banished from his father's land, when the king lied against him, he came to Ife and settled there and became their king, their Oba, and changed his name to Oduduwa. But when his father died, his kinsmen led by Chief Olia came to plead with him to return back and be their chief and be their Oba. He disagreed and said he would send one of his sons to come and become their Oba. That was how Olamiyan came to Benin, came back to Ife to rule as their Oba. So Olamiyan, the son of Ekaladehan, also known as Oduduwa, agreed to go to Benin. He spent some years in Benin and came back to Ife after his wife gave birth to a son named Iweka. Iweka I became the first Oba of Benin. In 1440, Oba Ewire the Great came to power and turned the city-states into an empire. Around 1470, he named the new state Edo. Iweka also started a dynasty that now bears his name. Oramiyan went on to serve as the founder of the Oyo Empire, where he ruled as the first Alafin of Oyo. He then returned to Ile-Ife, where he was the king of Ife. His descendants now rule in Ile-Ife, Oyo, and Benin to this day. So, the Second Benin Empire was ruled by Iweka I. His father, Olamiyan, agreed to go back, but when Iweka was born, and when he grew to the point where he could rule, he became the ruler of the Second Benin Empire. Now let's look at the Benin Massacre of 1897. The British sent delegates in 1897 with the stated aim of negotiating with the Oba of Benin regarding the trade agreement, which they felt he was not keeping. The leader of the delegation, James Robert Phillips, had asked his superiors in the British Foreign Office for permission to lead an armed British expedition to depose the Oba of Benin, not long before the expedition, but left for Benin City with a diplomatic delegation before receiving a reply to his request. Perceiving this to be an attempt to depose the Oba's generals unilaterally ordered an attack on the delegation as it was approaching Benin City. In 1897, the British started negotiating with the Oba of Benin concerning the trade agreement, which they felt he was not keeping. They felt he was not keeping his part, so they were trying to negotiate with him. And before then, the leader of the delegation, James Roberts, asked his superiors to give him a permission to lead an army to remove the Oba of Benin from throne, to depose him from being the Oba. So before his reply, the answer to his reply came, he decided to come to Benin to attempt to he said come to visit Benin. So the Oba of Benin and his chiefs saw this as an attempt to dethrone their Oba, and they launched an attack on them. The delegation included 8 unknowing British representatives and hundreds of African potters and laborers, all but two of whom were killed. A punitive expedition was launched in response, and a 1,200 men strong force under the command of Sir Harry Rawson captured Benin City. They deliberately sought out and destroyed certain areas of the city, including those thought to belong to the chiefs responsible for the ambush of the British delegation, and in the process a fire burnt the palace and surrounding quarters, which the British claimed was accidental. They took the palace art as war booty. They looted portrait figures, busts, and groups created in iron, carved ivory, and especially in brass. The Benin roses were sold off to defray the cost of the expedition, and some were accessioned to the British Museum. So the British delegation comprised of 8 British representatives and hundreds of African potters and laborers. All of them were killed except 2. All these delegations, the members of these delegations, all of them were killed by the Benin ambush. During the Benin ambush, only 2 survived. So in retaliation, the British army now launched an attack on them, and this army was led by Sir Harry. They launched an attack in Benin. They burnt the palace, although they claimed that was an accident. They looted the portrait figures, the busts, the palace, the carved things that were in the palace, the iron, especially the brass, the Benin bronzes. They sold off some and also took some to the British Museum. This has brought us to the end of this exercise on the origin and history of the Benin Empire. Let's look at the assessment section. Who was the first Oba of the Benin Empire? What title was given to the Benin kings? Drop your answer at the comment section. That will be all for today. Thank you for watching, and join us in our next demo.